What's up, rock and roll legends? Welcome back to Woods Rock. Today we're taking a deep dive into what I truly believe was one of the most insane years in rock history, 1973. Man, what a time to be alive and cranking up your stereo. This was the year rock didn't just evolve, it exploded in every single direction. We're talking louder amps, bolder attitudes, and more diversity than the genre had ever seen. So buckle up, folks, because we're counting down 15 absolutely defining songs that didn't just shape the sound of 73. They're still echoing through rock history today, influencing every band that picks up a guitar. Let's get into it. Dream On, Aerosmith. This is where legends are born, people. Picture this. A young, hungry band from Boston with dreams bigger than their wallets. They dropped this hauntingly beautiful, slow-burning masterpiece in June 1973 that would become their signature for decades. Most know it as Aerosmith's first ballad, but did you know Steven Tyler wrote the chorus in 1969 and sat on it for years? The band was flat broke, recording in a crumbling studio, and producer Adrian Barber had to mic Tyler's vocals through a cardboard tube to get that haunting echo. Columbia Records hated it until DJs started playing it anyway, forcing them to re-release it in '76, where it finally became a hit. This song shows they could go beyond just blues rock and craft something both powerful and emotional. Every time I hear Steven Tyler's voice just soar on this track, I get chills. This wasn't just a song, it was a promise of future greatness.
Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple. If there's one guitar riff every rock fan knows by heart, it's the iconic opening of Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water. Inspired by a real-life disaster, a fire at the Montreux Casino in Switzerland in 1971, the band turned tragedy into one of rock's most legendary anthems. Released on their 1972 album, Machine Head, the song exploded in 1973, climbing into the global top 5 and becoming a staple on rock radio. Its simple, powerful riff is instantly recognizable and timeless. The riff itself was a happy accident. Guitarist Ritchie Blackmore was attempting to channel Gustav Holst's Mars, the Bringer of War, but simplified it after struggling with the complex piece. As for the lyrics, the line "Funky Claude" refers to Claude Nobbs, the Montreux Jazz Festival director, who helped rescue people during the fire, while "Stupid with Flares" takes a playful jab at Frank Zappa fans, as the fire broke out during one of Zappa's concerts. Zappa wasn't amused. He reportedly banned Deep Purple from his shows after the song's release.
Over the Hills and Far Away, Led Zeppelin. Over the Hills and Far Away is Led Zeppelin at their absolute best, flexing their unmatched ability to weave beauty and power into one unforgettable track.
You got the love I need, maybe.
It starts with a delicate acoustic folk melody that feels like a peaceful sunrise, then erupts into an electrified hard rock storm. Released in March 1973 on their album Houses of the Holy, this single showcased Zeppelin's brilliance in blending folk and rock, obliterating genre boundaries to create something truly magical. The iconic acoustic intro, however, wasn't entirely original. Jimmy Page lifted it from folk singer Ann Briggs's Blackwater side without giving her credit, stirring some tension in the folk community. Another studio trick, the band slowed down the tape to deepen Robert Plant's vocals, a technique they'd later use on Since I've Been Loving You, adding a richer texture to the song's dynamic shifts. Time, Pink Floyd. Time is a gut punch of existential brilliance that grabs you from the first tick of its iconic opening clocks. Released in March 1973 as a cornerstone of the Dark Side of the Moon, this track cemented prog rock's potential with its intricate structure, profound lyrics, and stunning instrumentation.
Pink Floyd crafted a song so introspective and emotionally layered that it forces you to confront life's fleeting nature while somehow leaving you grateful for the ride. The song's unforgettable intro, those anxiety-inducing ticking clocks, was recorded in a single take at an antique shop. Behind the scenes, though, there was tension. Roger Waters wrote most of the song solo, which frustrated the rest of the band. The lyrics, steeped in existential dread, were inspired by J.G. Ballard's sci-fi stories, and David Gilmour's searing guitar solo? He initially disliked it, calling it too bluesy for Pink Floyd's sound, but it became one of the song's defining moments.
If I leave here tomorrow.
Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Freebird is the ultimate Southern rock anthem, a soaring masterpiece that captures the raw emotion and untamed spirit of the genre. It begins with a hauntingly beautiful slide guitar and a tender ballad, then unleashes an electrifying extended guitar solo that feels like a cry for freedom. Released in August 1973 on their debut album pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, it became a live showstopper and a cultural touchstone. The song fans scream for is the final encore. It's American rock and roll at its most poetic and unrestrained. The song's iconic 9-minute outro, with its dueling guitar solos, wasn't planned. It evolved from a live jam that the band kept for the studio version, showcasing their raw energy. The record label pushed for a shorter radio edit, but Skynyrd held firm, preserving the song's epic scope. Lyrically, Freebird was deeply personal. Guitarist Alan Collins wrote it as a tribute to his girlfriend, Kathy, who inspired the line, "If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me?" The song also carried a heavier weight after the 1977 plane crash that killed frontman Ronnie Van Zant, turning it into a poignant memorial in live performances. LaGrange, ZZ Top. LaGrange is a blues rock juggernaut, dripping with Texas swagger and gritty attitude in every riff. Released in July 1973 on their album Tres Hombres, this track catapulted ZZ Top into the spotlight as masters of raw, groove-heavy blues rock. They took the classic blues sound, cranked up the grit, and crafted a song that's become the ultimate distillation of their signature style, sleek, unpolished, and undeniably cool. The song's iconic "Ha Ha Ha" vocal hook was lifted from Howlin' Wolf's 44 Blues, a move that sparked a royalty dispute and a quietly settled lawsuit threat. Inspired by a real Texas brothel, the Chicken Ranch, the song's risque subject matter led to bans on live performances in some conservative towns, only adding to its rebellious allure. Radar Love, Golden Earring.
I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
Radar Love is European hard rock at its peak, a Dutch masterpiece that pulses with raw, adrenaline-fueled energy, tailor-made for cruising down the highway at midnight with the windows down. Released in August 1973, on the album Moontan, it stormed the charts as a global top 10 hit, peaking at 13 in the US, and carved out a unique driving rock vibe that expanded the geographic reach of 1973's rock scene. Its infectious, high-octane groove remains the gold standard for road trip anthems. The band wasn't thrilled with the final mix. They wanted a grittier sound, but the producer polished it into a radio-friendly hit. The lyric about the silent radio came from a real CB radio call the band overheard from a trucker, adding an authentic edge. The US version controversially trimmed the song's eerie intro, with the label claiming American audiences wouldn't get it. Ramblin' Man, the Allman Brothers Band. Ramblin' Man is a soulful gem that showcases the band's softer, more heartfelt side while staying true to their southern rock roots. With its smooth, country-infused melody and rich, authentic vibe, It's a standout track from their August 1973 album, Brothers and Sisters. This song became their only single to reach the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10, peaking at number 2, proving they could capture mainstream appeal without sacrificing their soulful essence. Behind the scenes, guitarist Dickie Betts initially resisted including the song, feeling it leaned too country for the band's sound. Tragically, it was their first hit recorded without Duane Allman, who had passed away in 1971. The record label pushed the band hard, requiring 11 re-recordings before approving the final version, ensuring it struck the perfect balance of polish and raw emotion.
The Ballroom Blitz. Sweet. Ballroom Blitz is glam rock at its most electrifying, a glitter-soaked explosion of chaotic energy that hits like a party on overdrive. Released in September 1973, it stormed the charts as a global top 10 hit, peaking at number 2 in the UK, and became a defining anthem of glam rock's flamboyant, high-octane style. Blending catchy pop hooks with raw, hard rock power, it's loud, wild, and utterly unforgettable. A perfect snapshot of rock and roll in its most outrageous, makeup-wearing glory. The song was born out of chaos. The band wrote it in just 10 minutes after being booed and bottled off stage by a rowdy biker crowd in Scotland. The iconic "yeah" at the start was a playful jab at those hecklers. The producer pushed the band to speed up the tempo, amplifying the song's frenetic energy and cementing its place as a glam rock classic. We're an American Band. Grand Funk Railroad. We're an American Band is a bold, unapologetic celebration of American rock and roll, wrapped in stars and stripes swagger and fueled by beer-soaked energy. Released in September 1973, this hard rock anthem became the band's first #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, cementing their status as arena rock giants at the peak of their commercial success. With its brash, no-nonsense sound, the song captures the heart of American music. Loud, proud, and full of raw power. The lyric, "Sweet, Sweet Connie," references real-life groupie Connie Hamzy, who later sued the band for defamation over the mention. Ironically, the band considered the track a throwaway, never expecting it to skyrocket to #1 and define their legacy. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Elton John. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is a bittersweet masterpiece that blends tender emotion, theatrical flair, and poetic depth, proving rock can tug at the heartstrings. As the title track of his landmark double album released in October 1973, it wasn't a main single, but became one of Elton's most iconic and cherished songs, highlighting his extraordinary songwriting and seamless fusion of pop and rock drama. The piano-driven melody carries a raw, heartbreaking power that resonates deeply with listeners. Lyricist Bernie Taupin crafted the song as a rejection of the trappings of fame, though Elton initially dismissed the lyrics as whiny. The unforgettable piano riff was quietly borrowed from a 1930s jazz standard, a nod that slipped under the radar. This track stands as a testament to the idea that the most powerful rock songs are often the ones that leave you moved and reflective. Live and Let Die, Paul McCartney and Wings. Live and Let Die is a thrilling fusion of James Bond grandeur and raw rock energy, delivering a cinematic masterpiece that's as explosive as it gets. Released in June 1973 as the theme for the James Bond film of the same name, it soared to a global top 10 hit, peaking at #2 in the US, showcasing McCartney's genius for blending bold orchestral flourishes with chaotic rock power.
Theatrical, dynamic, and perfectly suited for 007. It's everything a Bond theme should be. McCartney nearly handed the song to The Who, but Roger Daltrey passed on it. Legendary producer George Martin arranged the lush orchestration as a favor, working for free. The iconic gunshot sound? That was a real .44 Magnum, recorded in a studio hallway for maximum impact.
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Black Sabbath. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is a towering heavy metal masterpiece that elevated the genre with unmatched ambition and complexity. Released as the title track of their December 1973 album, it pushed the band's signature dark, thunderous sound into new territory with intricate structures and dynamic shifts, all while staying true to their heavy roots. This song cemented Black Sabbath's legacy as pioneers who didn't just play metal. They redefined it with purpose and artistry. The iconic riff came to guitarist Tony Iommi in a nightmare, prompting him to wake up and capture it on a bedside tape recorder. In the studio, Ozzy Osbourne forgot the lyrics and ended up freestyling much of the vocal, adding a raw edge. The haunting synth parts were contributed anonymously by Rick Wakeman of Yes, lending an extra layer of sophistication to this groundbreaking track. Search and Destroy, The Stooges. Search and Destroy by Iggy and the Stooges is a ferocious blast of primal punk energy that still feels like a Molotov cocktail tossed into a quiet room. Released in February 1973 on the album Raw Power, this track is a cornerstone of proto-punk, unleashing a raw, aggressive sound and defiant attitude that shaped punk and alternative music for decades. Iggy Pop's snarling, unhinged vocals sound like a caged animal breaking free, cementing the song's place as a rebel anthem. The song's searing riff was borrowed from a Bo Diddley track, but Iggy's blistering screams made it unrecognizable. Raw Power was a commercial flop, selling just 300 copies in 1973, with critics dismissing it as unlistenable garbage. Yet, its raw, unfiltered power became a rallying cry for generations of misfits and rebels who found inspiration in its chaos. Angie, The Rolling Stones. Angie is a tender, soul-stirring ballad that stands out as a moment of quiet brilliance amidst 1973's roaring guitars and pounding drums. Released in August 1973 on the album Goat's Head Soup, it became a global top 5 hit, reaching #1 in the US and #5 in the UK, showcasing the band's emotional depth and mastery of the rock ballad. This poignant track proved the Stones could deliver raw vulnerability with the same power as their hardest rock anthems. Contrary to rumors, the song isn't about David Bowie's wife. Keith Richards wrote it while in rehab, naming it after the nurse who helped him through heroin withdrawal. Mick Jagger initially resisted singing it, feeling it was too soft for their gritty image, but his heartfelt delivery became one of the song's defining strengths. And there you have it. 15 absolutely defining songs that made 1973 a true landmark year for classic rock. Each one of these tracks didn't just capture the spirit of their time, they created the blueprint for everything that came after. Which one of these timeless classics still hits you the hardest? Which one makes you turn up the volume every single time? And more importantly, which legendary track do you think we missed that deserved a spot on this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely love hearing from fellow rock lovers, and your suggestions often inspire our next deep dives into rock history. And if you live and breathe classic rock like we do, you know the drill. Smash that like button, hit subscribe to join our growing family of rock enthusiasts, and keep that notification bell ringing so you never miss our latest journeys through the golden age of rock.
This is Woods Rock, and we'll catch you next time with more legends, more incredible riffs, and more amazing stories from the era when rock and roll ruled the world.